Illinois started the season with high hopes, winning 4 of 5 to start Big Ten play. Since then, Bruce Weber's team has gone tail-spinning, losing 9 of their last 11. Michigan comes to Champaign still fighting for its first Big Ten crown since '86. Tonight, the Wolverines, led by Freshman of the Year candidate Trey Burke, look to win at Illinois for the first time since 1995. Tonight from Assembly Hall, it's the Thursday night showcase presented by T. Rowe Price. Number 16 Michigan, still dreaming of the Big Ten title, and the Fighting Illini, who have not given up on their fading NCAA tournament hopes. Now, it could play out in the Big Ten that it ends in a 3-way tie for first. That happens if Michigan beats Illinois tonight and Penn State this weekend, and Ohio State defeats Michigan State on Sunday. Then you'd see 3 co-champions. Working tonight's telecast, we've got one on each side. Stephen Bartle, a big part of the Illini success of the late 80s and their 1989 Final Four team. And Jalen Rose, one of the Michigan Fab Five from 91 to 94, playing in not one but 2 Final Fours. 2 guys who know a little something about winning in the Big Ten. Great to have both of you alongside. I'm Dave O'Brien. Pleasure to be with you both. And gentlemen, let's talk about tonight's game. And Michigan, Jalen, they're not even talking about the NCAA tournament. They know they're in. The only thing they're talking about is the Big Ten title.
The key is 1986. That's the last time the Michigan Wolverines have won a regular season Big Ten title. Let me tell you some of the leaders of that roster. Roy Tarpley, Black Gold, Gary Grant, the judge, Antoine Jobert. The Wolverines are long overdue.
Some names there out of the past, both of your past. Stephen, Bruce Weber's under heavy fire. We all know that. The Illini have lost 9 out of 11, and yet as we come into town tonight, there's still a glimmer of hope here in Champaign.
There's a glimmer of hope, Dave, and there's something also called pride. And every time you hit the floor, it's a privilege, not a right. And so if Illinois can approach this like they did in their last game against Iowa, they have a very good shot of derailing Michigan tonight in their quest to get a share of the Big Ten title.
All right, Steve, take us to the one-on-one tonight. 2 of the younger players, younger stars in the Big Ten.
Well, it's a big man in Myers Leonard for Illinois that Illinois has not seen before. Athletic, competitive. If he can stay out of foul trouble, he's a double-double waiting to happen.
For the Wolverines, Fab freshman Trey Burke, second on the team in scoring, leads the team in assists, does it off pick and roll. Full court, half court, he's the player that makes it go for the Wolverines.
Look at the starting lineups now for Michigan. Zach Novak and Stu Douglas. It feels like they've been Wolverines forever. Smotrich can hit the 3. He's 6'9". Hardaway Jr. has slumped shooting at times, really scuffling with the three-pointer. For Illinois, Bruce Weber tonight goes back to a normal look in the lineup. In the last game against Iowa, he benched Myers Leonard and Brandon Paul. He brought them off the bench. They both played very well in a key victory. They are in the starting lineup here tonight. And Bruce Weber, 3rd in all-time wins at Illinois. And the Illini were national runners-up his second season here. But even with that resume, one has to wonder if his fate hasn't already been decided here in Champaign.
Yeah, and many, unfortunately, in the Illini Nation think it has. But once again, if you're able to throw it up, Jalen, you still got a chance.
And also, if they're able to make a good run in the Big Ten tournament and in the NCAA tournament, it'll be tough to let a coach go after 9 seasons.
Yeah, they've got Wisconsin coming up this weekend. They've got to go to Madison, but if they win the next 2 and then make a run in the Big Ten tournament, they've got to be a bubble team. Underway as the Fighting Illini wins the opening tip. They come in 17-12. But, of course, just 2 wins in their last 11 games. Abrams running the point. Here's Paul on the wing. Of course, he had the game of the year in the Big Ten, the 43 against Ohio State. Still the jewel of the Big Ten season. There's Richardson in and out with a jump shot from the wing.
And Dave, you talk about Brandon Paul with his ability. You score 43 points against one of the better teams in the nation. Many expect to see that type of effort every night.
On the money, Stu Douglas, the senior out of Indiana, who has not missed a game in his Michigan career. And Jalen, it's 132 straight games as of tonight.
And the key for the Wolverines, that open 3-point shot, was penetration. Get you a better look.
Pretty good look inside by Griffey, but he can't convert. And now a foul, a frustration foul by Tyler Griffey.
You call it frustration. I call that a bad foul.
Bad foul.
They get the rebound, get back on D, big fella.
John Beilein, 5th year at Michigan. What are the expectations now for the Michigan program? A very young team, went to the NCAA tournament. They almost beat Duke in their second game. They lost by 2.
The Wolverines have won 2 NCAA tournament games since 1998. So it's very good to see them ranked at number 16. Now let's see if they can share a tie for the Big Ten title and make a run in the NCAA tournament.
Pretty nice run to the rim there by Jordan Morgan to slam it down. Big reason he shoots 64%.
Yeah, John Beilein doesn't get enough credit for the floor spacing that his guys play with. They're able to dribble drive, able to shoot the 3 because they keep great floor spacing and look for each other in their areas of strength.
Ball outside the 3-point arc. He only hits 34% there on the drive. That's a sweet move for 2.
That's a very good move by Paul. They need him to have a big game. Be aggressive, especially early. Try to keep this great crowd involved.
Jalen, this is one of my favorite players, not only in the Big Ten, but in the country. Trey Burke plays like he's been here before.
His demeanor, a stoic demeanor, gets his teammates involved, picks and chooses his spots to take over a game.
You can see the emotion right there to take charge. He slapped his hands together, got the ball back and laid it in.
That's what you want from your point guard. Demand the basketball in a time of need, penetrate, nobody stops you, the kiss off the backboard.
So 3 trips, 3 field goals for Michigan. A nice start. The Wolverines coming in 21-8, 11-5 in the Big Ten. They've already beaten the Illini once. That was back at Ann Arbor a couple of weeks ago, 70-61. Myers Leonard got into quick foul trouble in that game and hardly played in the first half. He gets the entry, the shot, and that won't drop.
Well, the Illini have Trey Burke trying to guard Tyler Griffey. About a 7-inch height advantage. Illini need to find a way to take advantage of that.
Douglas with a miss. And Joe Lunardi confirming what a lot of Illini already know, that they may have to go all the way to the Big Ten championship game, the Big Ten tournament game, in order to get into the NCAA tournament. Right now they are out rather definitively. Ugly looking shot there by Myers Leonard. 16:58 to go here in the first half.
And for the Wolverines, penetration is always key. Giving up a good shot to get a great shot. Pick and roll action. Tim Hardaway with the drop off to Morgan for the slam. And here you see Trey Burke slash into the basket with the easy layup. If you're the Illini, especially Myers Leonard, you're a 7-footer. Close to the basket, contest shots, make it difficult for the Wolverines.
Griffey just picked up his second foul. The Illini just 1 for 5 out of the gate shooting it here at Assembly Hall.
Dave, you know, right here is where the Illini have issues on the defensive end. When they've been stellar, hold teams typically under 60 points a game, but with the start that Michigan has early, doesn't bode well for the Illini.
Abrams with the foul, trying to contain Burke. Easier said than done. Very serious candidate for freshman of the year in the Big Ten. A misfire there. It's going to be him or it's going to be Cody Zeller.
Yeah, I agree. And my hat would go to Trey Burke, being a freshman point guard running this intricate system and picking it up like he's a senior.
That one deflected out of play by Douglas of Michigan, so the Illini will have it. A look at those candidates, but really you have to say it's these two guys. Aaron White's played very, very well, but not quite in the same league with Zeller and Burke.
Trey Burke and Zeller, I agree, those are the 2 top candidates. It's hard to overlook what Zeller has done. His team has defeated 3 teams in the top 10. Going to be a tough choice for the voters.
Paul, the sweet follow away there. Brandon Paul, the junior from Gurnee, Illinois, had 21 but turned it over 7 times when Michigan knocked off the Illini in their first meeting.
And will we see a repeat of the game that you referenced earlier, Dave, the 43-point outburst by Brandon Paul when they beat Ohio State? Looks like they may need a similar effort tonight.
Hardaway Jr. rattles that one in, a 3-pointer.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to continue to develop. We know he can catch and shoot the basketball. There you see him creating off the dribble, knocking down the contested 3-point shot.
Stephen, why the shooting woes for him, though? Just 26% from 3 this year.
You know what, he said he's just in a little bit of a rut, and he's been taking forced 3-point shots. If he can really take his time and let the game come to him, he'll be out of that slump.
The Illini want to run here. Abrams jumps in, draws the contact, and makes the shot. He'll go to the line. Chance at a 3-point play. for Tracy Abrams.
Well, he's stunting like his daddy, Tim Hardaway Jr. Excuse me there. We're going on the other side with Tracy Abrams, a young freshman, getting it done for the Illini.
Take the shot.
Will he make the bigger impact? Unbelievable.
Saturday, a full day of college hoops on ESPN with a couple of great games. Harrison Barnes and the Tar Heels trying to avenge that last-second loss to bitter rival Duke earlier this month. That's the Saturday prime time, presented by DirecTV at 7. Then at 9, Thomas Robinson in Kansas will be hosting Texas. We take a look at North Carolina and Duke's state of success, brought to you by State Farm. Barnes averaging 17 a game. Austin Rivers 15 points a game. That leads the ACC freshman. The winner clinches the ACC regular season title. Tune into ESPNU Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. ESPN at 11 a.m. Eastern to watch College Game Day, covered by State Farm. Assembly Hall, Champaign, Illinois.
One of the fun things we get to do, Dave and Jalen, in our business is try to project what guys will look like at the next level. Harrison Barnes, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a player at the next level. I know he caught a lot of criticism early, was the first freshman AP All-American, and didn't come out strong, but boy, his game is elevating right now.
What about Austin Rivers? He got off to a fairly slow start for the Blue Devils, but he's come on as of late. That big-time game-winning shot in the previous game, going to be very exciting.
Ball with a tough leaner there. His first miss, he had been 2 for 2. Hardaway denied. Michigan gets it back. Douglas feeding the corner. Hardaway back out top, and now Burke will set up a play.
And Jalen, you talked about Hardaway's maturation and evolution of his game. You saw him struggle putting it on the deck that time.
He gets free underneath for an easy bucket.
Any shooter, it's all about percentages. Whether it's getting a free throw, a layup, something in transition, that gets you going. Now that three-point shot goes in just a little bit better.
And he's had some standout games. He dropped 30 on Iowa, had 26 against Penn State, but a lot of really choppy shooting performances along the way.
Yeah, and he's got the ability to really bust loose. And, you know, when you're going through a slump, you tend to press a little bit, but he's got enough help from his teammates that he can let the game come to him.
Well, Tracy Abrams having a very active first half here for the Illini. They've made 4 of 10, Michigan 5 of 8.
Illinois is doing exactly what you need to do when you're playing against a top-ranked team. Stay in the game close, keep the crowd involved, try to clear your defensive backboard.
And they're going to get Smotrich underneath for a shove, a foul with 13:41 to go here in the first half. That'll be his first personal. Well, strength of schedule, certainly very good for Michigan. It's number 12. The Wolverines are also 5-4 against top 25 opponents. John Beilein's team looking for their 22nd win tonight. That would be his high as the head coach at Michigan.
And he's doing a fantastic job. And Jalen, to me, Michigan's been flying under the radar all season nationally, not really given the recognition that they deserve.
Well, lately in the Big Ten, the last handful of years or so, a lot of the Big Ten players haven't gone on to be top flight or top round NBA prospects. So now people want to see not only if they can produce in college, but produce on the next level.
Leonard slings the pass. There's the shot by Abrams. That clangs away to the right. So Hardaway hit the deck moments ago. There was no foul on that play. Burke, oh, tough shot. Beautifully defended by Brandon Paul.
That's a very good contest by Paul. Didn't try for the block, the charge, or the flop. Contest causes the miss.
And the Fighting Illini get the ball back. Here's Bertrand up top. They'll fire this one and knock it home, a two-pointer.
Joseph Bertrand has a lot of talent, guys, but his thing is all confidence. He's a guy that has an old-school short-range game, mid-range game, doesn't hit you from 3, but can go off the bounce of a sneaky athlete. He's got to come alive tonight for the Illini.
Plus also, sometimes you're open for a reason. And right there, it looked like he was open for that reason. He'll get more confident as he knocks down those open looks.
He can get very hot. Hardaway with a leaner. Can't get it to go, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
We talked about it. One of Joseph Bertrand's strengths is a one bounce into a 15 to 17 foot jumper. As Jalen referenced, You see right there, Novak knows the scouting report, so give him the open jumper and contest. Good play on both sides, just a little bit better offense by Bertrand.
Bertrand at one point this season had a stretch over 2 games where he hit 12 straight shots. Hardaway is 70% foul shooter.
I really like how Hardaway Jr. is working himself into the game. Not forcing any shots, mixing up how he's getting the basketball in the basket, setting himself up for a very big game.
He has scored Michigan's last 7 points. 12-19 left in the half. And the Wolverines on top by 3. And Hardaway to get a little bit of a breather here.
Oh, and I love that kid's demeanor. I make 7 straight points, and the coach takes me out of the game. We would have had a conversation right there.
I love it. You mean Fisher wouldn't let you do what you want to do?
Not at all.
Sam Maniscalco, a graduate who is honored here on senior night, even though he's only played 1 season for the Fighting Illini. Here's Paul to lift. Got it. Oh, that was all net.
Yeah, Brandon Paul is a special player. When he's aggressive early, guys, you notice that he went to the hole, got the layup down, got some shots down inside the 3. Then you ease yourself out to the 3-point line.
If you're the Michigan Wolverines, this is exactly what you want. Pick and roll action.
Burke straight on with a 3 there.
Burke being guarded like a fish out of water by the 7'1" Myers Leonard, knocks down the tray as the big fella was on his heels.
Burke, a 6-time Big Ten Freshman of the Week. And averaging about 5 assists a game as well for the Wolverine offense.
Number 12, get inside. How about that? Get him closer to the basket. 7'1". That's their advantage. Get him a touch and see if he can go to work down low.
But there he is getting that pass along the foul line. Here's Richardson, and that won't spin in.
Well, Illini getting pretty good looks. But against this red-hot shooting Michigan team, they got to knock him down.
Mr. Burke again, a freshman from Columbus, Ohio. Right on target, 20-14. And Michigan shooting the 3s right away, 4 out of 5.
Just when I thought I didn't like Columbus. Trey Burke signs with the Wolverines.
They got a pretty good point guard themselves there at Ohio State. Leonard tried to move away from the basket, knocked away, and here's Burke being chased by Maniscalco. He'll dunk it in.
Off the right foot. Don't do it like that, young fella.
Timeout. That's an 8-0 run.
Here's Trey Burke. You're on your heels, Myers Leonard. You might want to come out of that zone, big fella. You're playing against potential freshman of the year in the Big Ten. And here the Wolverines in transition, the Trey ball from the left wing.
Michigan 22, the Fighting Illini 14 here in the first half. Illinois started 4-1 in Big Ten conference games. Since then, they're 2-9. And on February 15th, after the Purdue loss, here's what Coach Bruce Weber had to say.
You know, Myers can't have horrible body language. First half, he walked around like, you know, this is our desperate game. Walked up and down the court. It can't happen. He's got to change, and we're not doing him justice if we don't make him change. The sad thing about the whole thing, I guess it's my fault. Instead of creating toughness and developing a team, I coach not to lose all year. And that's really sad, to be honest.
Well, you know, guys, when you hear something like that, as we look at Myers Leonard coming out of the huddle, your coaches like to challenge you, but Coach Weber was telling the truth in how he felt. But a lot of times when you criticize your players and yet you need them down the stretch to come through, that's a tough pill to swallow for some guys. And it looks like Myers Leonard trying to play his way through what Coach Weber was talking about.
And plus, college basketball is mostly about recruiting, getting them in uniform, then developing once they get there. Imagine if Trey Burke and Tim Hardaway Jr. played for the Illinois Fighting Illini.
Yep.
He would look like a lot better coach also.
Yes.
So a lot of times when you put a play up on the board, it looks a lot better when you have a player like Paul being aggressive and knocking them in. That's what the Wolverines are getting from their backcourt.
Now Paul with a miss there. Now, to Leonard's credit, he has been very supportive most recently of Bruce Weber and said, I'm sick of the criticism. He's treated me tremendously well. He was talking about how Bruce had treated him. and he's been sticking up for his coach.
Yeah, see, that tells a lot about that young man right there. And he understands that they're in a dire situation in terms of getting to the NCAA tournament. And he's just trying to play through everything that's going on.
And also in college, you're on a one-year scholarship. In the pros, you can have a multi-year contract. So you might want to get along with your head coach.
Make it a point. Yeah. Coming up on the 9-minute mark here in the first half, Jalen Rose, Stephen Bardo, Dave O'Brien with you. Michigan ranked number 16, fighting Illini. Unranked coming into the ball game, of course. Egger with a shot on target. And Egger, the 6'11 freshman from Chicago.
Oh, good job. Michigan running sort of it looks like an amoeba zone where at one point on the floor it looks like a 2-3. If it goes to the wing, it looks like a 3-2. Nana Egger doing a good job of getting into the crease.
Foul here on the side right in front of Bruce Weber's bench, and a foul will go against Michigan and Hardaway.
See, any point on a zone defense, right in the middle of the floor at the free throw line area is the weak spot in the zone. Nana Egger doing a good job of finding the crease.
And being patient with the pass fake. Straight up, straight down, follow through, knocks down the jump shot.
Michigan with 2 consecutive turnovers. 22-16, the Wolverines. Here's Paul. Hardaway Jr. on him. Once again, you see Leonard way away from the basket. The 7-footer now slashes close. On the catch, he wants to pass it more than he wants to shoot it.
You got to get the big fella a GPS device. Show him the circle right in front of the basket. Run there. You're 7'1". You're the tallest player out on the floor. That's your opportunity to be dominant.
See right here, he's expecting a double team to come. But at 7'1", it doesn't matter if you catch and turn and shoot. There's not much that Zach Novak at 6'5" is going to be able to do to mess with your shot.
There's no denying there's a world of ability there. That foul again against Michigan. And they got Hardaway again here with 8:01 left in the half, and he's starting to get into a little bit of difficulty. That's his second personal.
And Illinois very fortunate. Michigan is 8 of 14, 4 of 5 from the 3. They're lucky right now. They're only down 6 points with a chance to cut into this lead.
Now, Illinois has not won consecutive games since early January and suffered a 6-game losing streak in February. Many thought that sealed their March fate, but maybe not so fast. Leonard with a spin, and that's more like it.
There you go, big fella. Ask any real estate agent or broker. It's all about location, location, location. Get yourself going. He really likes to turn over that left shoulder.
He's coming off 22 and 14 against Iowa in 36 minutes. That was in a non-starting role. Burke left open. He'll fire it, and why not?
I got a news flash that's not breaking news. You might want to guard number 3. You're going to leave somebody open. It probably shouldn't be Trey Burke.
He has 12, and he is hot, 5 for 7. Here's Paul. A wing 3. Rebound tipped out high, and it's Burke again. He's going to go 1-on-3 here. Kick out here for Smotrich. A good shot for him, and he drains it.
Once again, Trey Burke getting to the lane. You think he penetrates too deeply? No, he doesn't. Pivots back, sees his big fella trailing. That's the easiest three-point shot in the game, right at the top of the key.
Now, the Wolverines have been shooting a ton of threes, but they are drilling them here in Champaign tonight.
If the Fighting Illini don't find a way to get Paul and Leonard going, the way Michigan is getting out in transition, getting to the basket, as well as knocking down three-point shots, it may be lights out, baby.
4 to go after the foul, 27-18.
Well, you talk about a young man that acts like he's been here before, takes what the defense gives him and makes him pay.
On the top of the key, here in the half court, comes off the baseline, side screen and roll, knocks down the long two-point shot. All quality teams get good guard play. That's what they're getting from Trey Burke. Tied for most all-time in assists, a freshman record.
And 12 points and 2 assists. Like a fool with his pants on the ground. You should have seen the look from Bardo on that one.
Try to say that one 10 times and or backwards.
6:34 to go here in the first half. Jalen Rose alongside Stephen Bardo and Dave O'Brien. Great to have you with us on our Thursday night showcase. And number 16, Michigan, on top and shooting very, very well here in the first half. At 62%.
You know what I would like to see from number 3 in white? Take overtime. Give me the basketball off a baseline pick. Give me a screen. Find a way to get me open for a look. I'm going to find my way to keep this basketball team in the ball game at home.
Maniscalco on the dribble drive. Dumps it down low. Egwu blocked by Hardaway, trying to make a save, but right over to Illinois. Here's Paul. Flips it. Egwu nicely done for 2.
Nice job by Brandon. Paul looking upward instead of at the rim for his teammate. Great setup by Paul.
Smotrich and Leonard up top. 2 big fellas bumping. Hardaway trying to open up a lane, and he's fouled. A blocking foul here against Egwu.
I talk about it ad nauseum. When you're a big guy, the guard is coming at you. If you just move your feet, hold your position, hands straight up, chest out, no need to fall on the ground. Contest the play, they'll never call a foul. That real estate is yours from the floor to the ceiling. When you try to get the block, charge, flop scenario into play, that a lot of times favors the offensive player because you have to stop moving your feet to get in position.
And do you both believe that's become a bit of an epidemic this year more than recent years? The flopping, the diving that we've seen, sort of the European soccer thing?
Yeah, I think the World Cup has infused college basketball a little bit. And, you know, teams are trying to play great defense. And Jalen's exactly right. When you're 6'9" or 6'10" like Nana Egwu is, or you're 7'1" like Myers Leonard, you just build a wall. And if it's better offense, then it's better offense and they score. But you make it as difficult as possible without fouling.
If you're 6'11", let them run into you.
There you go. Because usually they'll bounce off.
5.5 to play here in the first half. Paul has hit a couple of long ones here in the early going. Not quite like the Ohio State game yet. Maniscalco gives it up. 7 on the shot clock for the Fighting Illini. Paul trying to get in position to shoot. Has to fire one way downtown. And Burke there for the rebound. He's a very good rebounding guard. He has 100 rebounds for the season. Among the many other things he does well. Novak with a scoop and got it to go. How about Zach Novak?
And you know what? Michigan practices that in shoot-around. They practice that reverse shot, each and every player, so it looks like a difficult shot, but he's used to doing that quite often.
Those lefties are cagey.
And look who Novak is guarding. That's what I like about this senior. Gives everything he has on both ends of the floor.
So 4:49 left here in the first half.
Novak, as he drives baseline, does it with the right hand, the lefty, with the scoop over the top.
Jalen Rose, a noted left-hander. Douglas with the foul a moment ago.
Well, it's a right-handed world. Went to public school, the desk was on the right-hand side. Going to bank, the pen is on the right-hand side. This world is catered to the right-handed player. Must give the lefty some love.
Another foul here on Smotrich. That'll be his second. And 1-and-1 time here for the Fighting Illini. Myers Leonard at 73% at the line. 13 points, 8 rebounds for Leonard. Good numbers. He's leading the Big Ten in block shots. But you can't help but think, with his athletic ability, how much talent he has, those numbers should be better. And does it start at the foul line? He only gets to the foul line for 4 free throws a game.
I totally agree, Dave. And it also, I believe, starts with his teammates and a commitment to get him the basketball. They are not very good at feeding the post, which incidentally is a lost art in the college game. It's very easy to feed the ball to a 7'1" guy as athletic as Myers Leonard, if that's an emphasis.
Also, paging Tyler Griffin. Here's a player that averages 5 points on the season. He had 18 and 5 versus the Wolverines in their previous matchup.
That's right, a career high. Stolen away as they squeezed him in midcourt. Richardson with a pull-up pop. And can't drain that. Abrams went in there among the trees, knocked away to Hardaway.
And not to be overcritical of the Illini, but that's a great example of the college game. You rarely see a layup on a 2-on-1 fast break anymore. You see more jump shots. And we were always taught, Jalen, go to the rim if you could.
Christian cashing in on a terrific cut. That's something that they really were able to manipulate in the first meeting over and over again.
And the Wolverines play without what you consider a traditional big man. So a lot of times they have 4 players around the floor that can knock down perimeter shots, leaves the lane open for penetrations, for backdoor passes, and for layups. that spacing creates that type of opportunity.
Leonard draws the foul. Another peek at that backdoor moments ago. John Beeline, of course, the master at drawing up this play. Always a part of his offenses wherever he goes. Very much. I know Coach Dacus was watching it. We were too, and we were shocked at how easy it was to get the ball to Jared Sullinger in those final seconds for that shot.
There were only 7 seconds when Ohio State got the basketball, and Sullinger scored, and there was still 3 seconds left on the clock.
And the Wolverine faithful went crazy because they know if they win today and win at Penn State, they're going to be rooting for the Ohio State Buckeyes to win at Michigan State for a 3-way tie for the Big Ten title.
Right, we could have 3 co-champions. Here's Burke again, who has been sizzling since the opening seconds here. Has 14 points.
Gentlemen, the patience. He didn't rush. Be in a hurry, but don't rush. Going left, taking his time off the pick and roll, knocks down the 18-foot jump shot on the roll in the Big Ten. You don't think Trey Burke not only wants to tie for the Big Ten title, but also win Big Ten Freshman of the Year? He's playing like he does want both.
A mad scramble here. It comes out high for Abrams, so the Illini win it back here. And on official whistle with 3:06 to go. Maybe a clock issue here.
It looks like Valentine is telling them that the reset of the shot clock was legit because Novak looked like he got his hand and threw it towards his bucket.
That was it. Burke, by the way, has made 5 straight shots. He's 6 for 8 here in the first half. Abrams off to Leonard, who loves to play out way away from the basket. Certainly has good shooting range. Abrams jumps into the lane, forces it up. It won't drop for him, and here come the Wolverines.
If I see Leonard catching the basketball at the hash mark in the half-court offense again, I might just take off my headphones.
Burke will swing it here for Novak. Slammed down by Leonard, a block for the man who leads the Big Ten in that category.
There you go, big fella. Get inside.
Slapped out of play off of Tim Hardaway Jr., and he got hit. That one smarts. Let's go back to Leonard's block a moment ago.
Well, it looked like there was a block party because it appears DJ Richardson got a piece, and then Myers Leonard just goes in for effect.
That's a world-class stuff.
Yes, it is.
Straight down.
Like a volleyball spike.
That did.
And as warm as it is outside, we might be disguised with some sand on the floor.
Now, how about today? Temperatures up into the 50s. It was like 65 here yesterday in Illinois. Knocked in by Bertrand.
Some things in life you got to live with. Seems like the Wolverines want to live with Bertrand in that 15-footer. He's made a couple. Let's see if he continues to be aggressive.
They may want to be careful. He dropped 25 on Nebraska, so he can get cooking. Here's Vogrich outside the 3. Off target.
You're at home down 11. You're the Illini playing against the 16th ranked team, fighting for your tournament life. Let's see if they can show some energy.
Well, maybe right on cue. Brandon Paul. Maybe they're Energizer Bunny. 35-27. He has 10.
But you got to get height. Some high fives, some chest bumps, slap the floor, get going. This crowd is ready to erupt. Almost like when they had Kendall Gill, Stephen Bardo, Lowell Hamilton. And I'm not gonna lie, I did cut the V's in my head like Marcus Liberty when I was in high school.
There you go.
I used to be a huge fan of Liberty when he came out of high school and signed with Illinois.
Shot clock down to 5. Leonard there with the rebound. Coming up on 1 minute left before the break. The Illini's offense trying to cut into this Michigan lead. Really, the Wolverines have been comfortably ahead for about the last 10 minutes.
Right now, as hot as Michigan is from the field, if the Illini can score here, it's a big mental boost going into halftime.
When you're playing to your strength, you're not being selfish. If I was number 12 in white, I'd go stand on the left box and would not move.
Bertrand with a miss. Hardaway high for the rebound. So the last half minute, obviously a crucial game for the Fighting Illini. Very important for Michigan as well because they still have eyes on the Big Ten championship. But the Fighting Illini, they're fading hopes for an NCAA tournament bid. Could die right here tonight. Stephen, taking a look at Michigan shooting the 3, they've done it awfully well.
Well, they're 5 of 9, where Trey Burke has hit both of his opportunities, but what you'll notice, most of these are open jumpers, Jalen, and when you get a chance to get open threes early in the game, it gets your confidence level going, the basket gets bigger, and they're just taking the shots that the defense are giving them.
Being unselfish, that makes you want to slide to the right spot, knock down the jump shot when somebody makes a play for you.
Well, tomorrow night, ESPN with an NBA doubleheader. It starts with Kia NBA Countdown at 7:30. Then at 8 Eastern, the 76ers will host the Warriors. And finally at 10:30, Chris Paul and the Clippers take on Steve Nash and the Suns. The NBA on ESPN. That's all coming up tomorrow night.
I give the Illini credit for as well as the Michigan Wolverines are playing. They're playing at home. They're only down 8. This still can be a very contested and close basketball game. If Paul can continue to stay aggressive and Leonard can find a way to get going.
Burke with 14 to lead all scorers, although Michigan has not scored in the last 3 minutes and 9 seconds. That's allowed Illinois to close that gap a little bit.
8 turnovers for the Wolverines, only 6 assists.
So Michigan to check it in. Hardaway Jr. left open for a split second. Shot clock and the game clock almost identical.
I would screen and roll with Trey Burke. Somehow get him going towards the bucket. Try to collapse the defense and look opposite.
And if I'm the Illini, I'm trying to deny him the basketball. I want somebody else to dribble, somebody else to initiate the offense, because he's shown me he can do it all season.
Burke fouled by Richardson, who went to knock it away and committed his first foul with 6.7 seconds to go.
Wise foul that time. Illini had one to give.
But sometimes you allow a team to get in a set play. Now Michigan gets into an action. They're going to do exactly what you said. Now get it to Trey. There you see the pick and roll. He's guarded by a 3. Gets all the way to the basket.
Got it airborne, but cannot make the shot at the buzzer. So Michigan goes to the locker room with a 35-27 lead over the Fighting Illini here at the break at Assembly Hall. 54% shooting for Michigan, and they're hitting their threes as well. 14 for Trey Burke. He has been the star in the first 20 minutes. Now we send it back to Ryan Burr and Dan Dockich for the UPS halftime report. We welcome you back to Thursday Night Showcase presented by T. Rowe Price from Assembly Hall in Champaign, Illinois. Number 16 Michigan has the lead heading into the second 20 minutes against Illinois. Dave O'Brien, Stephen Bardo, and Jalen Rose with you. And perhaps it's gone from crucial to critical for Illinois if in fact they have a shot at an NCAA tournament bid. We'll see what happens in the second half, but they've got to get more out of Myers Leonard.
They really do. Myers is struggling from the field, only 1 of 4. You got to be like Denzel in Training Day. I'm King Kong up in this piece. I'm 7'1". I'm the biggest man on the floor, fading away, looking to pass when he has opportunities. Not good for the Illini.
And that may be easier said or done because the Illini starting 5 have 7 total field goals. Here's the problem. Trey Burke from Michigan has 6 of his own. 6 of 9 from the floor, 14 points, doing it in all facets.
I love the Training Day reference. One of my favorite films.
Ain't got nothing on me.
That's right.
Look at the stat sheet here. Trey Burke with 14, 6 out of 9. He's been cooking. Paul has 10. He's made 4 out of 9 for the Fighting Illini. Michigan opens up the second half with the basketball.
But the thing I like about basketball, let's see if DJ Richardson now takes the challenge and says to himself, I'm going to be the person, step up, make Trey Burke work, and slow down his second half production.
A palming violation in the opening seconds of the second half.
You're right, Jalen. Someone has to step up and take the challenge, and that's been a problem for this Illini ball club. Fairly young squad with only 2 juniors, but of those juniors, DJ Richardson was Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and Brandon Paul, we know about what he's been able to accomplish.
Richardson with a long 3 and a good start here for the Fighting Illini.
That's what I mean by accepting the challenge. There you see him knock it down to 3, picking up across half court in the man-to-man defense. It looks like he has a focus in his eye.
And now threatening to get this slumbering crowd involved. They've been pretty quiet here going back to the late stages of the first half. That's an 8-0 run for Illinois, and Michigan throws it out of play. Morgan just tossed it off into the orange crush there.
Well, DJ Richardson, Jalen talked about it. Who's going to step up for the Illini? DJ Richardson doing what he does best, shooting the three. And a lot of times, college players, when their offense picks up, their defense is connected. So when they start to feel good on the offensive end, their defense picks up.
Richardson feeling it, not this time, though. He just recently got to 1,000 points in his career on February 21st against Ohio State.
And that's not just in the NCAA when a player makes shots, he starts to feel good. That's at PAL, AAU, in the backyard, at the boys club, anywhere in the pros. When you see that basketball go in the hoop, you start to feel better about the rest of your game.
It's true, but I played for Lou Henson. So I didn't get a whole lot of shots, and you had to play D if you're going to be on the floor. So fortunately for DJ Richardson, he gets a whole lot more looks than I did.
Bertrand with a foul for the Fighting Illini. Now, it was interesting what Dan Dockich was talking about at halftime, that Bruce Weber benched Brandon Paul and Myers Leonard in the last game against Iowa. They played a ton of minutes. They played very well, but they didn't start, and they won the game. Douglas from the corner buries the three. Why wouldn't he do the same thing in this game?
It's that's a great question, Dave, because if something worked for you, the way that they came out and played tough against Iowa, why not continue? Maybe he was sending a message to Brandon and Myers to get them to play harder, but it seemed to energize their team. And tonight they seem to come out a little lackadaisical.
I asked Myers Leonard before the game, a foul here on a long shot by Paul. I said, are you starting tonight? And he looked at me as if, well, yeah, of course I'm starting tonight, as if it weren't even discussed that he would come off the bench tonight.
And you know, it's interesting that guys get rhythm. And if they know they're going to start, they know they have a little bit more time to get in rhythm, Jalen. And there's a sense of urgency when you're used to starting, and yet you come off the bench.
They made the change in the second half, bringing Tyler Griffey off the bench. Now you see Sam Maniscalco, he's in the starting lineup, gives him another ball handler. Hope that that's going to free up Paul, who's at the free throw line for two.
So shooting three here, yep. He was fouled in the act of shooting a three, 38-31. So Paul with another one coming. Pretty good foul shooter at 73%. In a great game he had against Ohio State where he scored 43. He made 13 out of 15.
And in a weird way, if I'm a fan of Illinois, I'm actually happy. Michigan's not a good rebounding team, yet at halftime they were +5. My front court only had 8 points. We're playing at home with a chance to only be down 5.
Paul missed that one. Rebound picked away, however, by Richardson. Coming up on 18 minutes to play here. Oh, that's sweet. And Myers Leonard on the low block with 2.
There you go, big fella. That's how you earn your keep. Get on that left block, turn over the left shoulder, use your 7-foot frame to be effective and efficient.
That turns out to be a big trip on that end of the floor for the Fighting Illini, and they've carved into that lead, down by 4.
Well, you want to put some pressure on this Michigan ball club.
Burke again.
Woo. Bitter beer face over here, Jalen. I'm like, what are they going to do to him? They going to talk about his mama or smack him on his legs or something to get in his head? What
I was just about to say that. It's easier said than done. When you have all of the skills, you're able to put the defense on his heels the way Trey Burke can.
He is having a night. His season high, and thus his career high, is once again it's Leonard, his 27 points. Myers Leonard opening up the second half. He got hit, though, on that play, and he's in a little bit of pain, and so is Morgan as he's flexing that shoulder. So getting physical here. Both of them came up smarting.
We see here both guys going at it here on the rebound, and that's what you want. That's Big Ten basketball right there. And Myers, you got to hit or get hit. And Morgan might have hurt himself, but he sent a message that time, Jalen.
But it's just like boxing. When somebody gives you a blow to the kidneys, you can't wince. And right there, it looked like he was almost like a folding chair. He thought about it. They called timeout. He got a standing 8 count. Now he's competitive on the defensive end.
However, I'll say this. It seems like he is answering Bruce Weber's call to be tougher. And Bruce maligning himself for not developing that culture in the program.
That layup right there by Novak, on every level, take heed. Players miss more shots close to the basket than you truly realize. Contest without fouling, make them make a tough look. The Illini did a great job on that last possession.
Maniscalco, who started the second half, did not start in the game. Myers-Leonard with a kick out from Maniscalco. He gets a look at that shot clock now to 10. Here's Paul. Working on Douglas. Slings it in. Leonard again.
Left shoulder, 7'1". Leonard has started to assert himself. And also the perimeter players are doing a good job of feeding the big fella in position to make a high percentage play.
And what I say at halftime, I'm King Kong in this piece. That's Myers-Leonard in the second half.
Douglas trying to answer no. Smotrich picks the rebound. Burke won't wait. Rebounded away by the Fighting Illini. Do they go to Leonard again now? He has 6 points already in this half. He had 4 in the first half. It's Paul again, and he'll draw the foul. No basket on the stuff.
Well, you see the fans wanting to explode because the big fella has all the talent in the world. And when the guys get him the ball from point-blank range, that's the smile you're going to see.
The Texas Longhorns, all coming up on Saturday. Jalen Rose, Stephen Bardo, and Dave O'Brien with you here from Assembly Hall. And the Orange Crush beginning to get revved up because that man is starting to play.
And that was Nathan Shieldhouse, the starting quarterback for Illinois. So, Shoeless, your man in Michigan got the football players excited again about college basketball.
He's up in the ante, that's right. The Mays rage goes crazy in A-squared. Denard Robinson, you can see him leading the charge most games.
Shoelace, I said shoeless. Pardon me, Denard.
Brandon Paul at the line, in and out with that one. He was fouled in the act of shooting moments ago. Averaging 15 points a game.
Here's a microcosm of the Illini in this play. Most everybody looks at that as like, okay, that's a great play by Brandon Paul. But when Myers-Leonard is going off like that, he should touch the basketball, the first player each and every time down the floor.
Evan Smotrich just stepped out for Michigan. We caught a shot of him there moments ago. He's in some pain. He took a pretty good shot. Burke feeding Douglas up high, and now the freshman.
Smotrich got his future rattled a little bit, huh?
He got hit pretty good. And a whistle here. Out high with 15:26 to go. Foul against the Fighting Illini. Illinois within 1, and in the last 7 minutes they have outscored Michigan. This is going back to the late stages of the first half, 17-5.
It was good to see Illinois with a 2-2-1 full court look make the Michigan Wolverines pass the basketball up the floor as opposed to allowing Trey Burke to dictate the offense from the beginning of the possession.
Burke running Paul right into a screen. Here's Hardaway Jr. Yes, a three-pointer.
That's not a player that you can trail coming off of a double down on the weak side. You've got to caboose Hardaway, meaning get right on his backside and not let a pick create the space.
Leonard on the high post, but he's done excellent work here. Early stages of the second half around the basket. Open shooter Richardson. Yes, he'll bury that from the corner. Big three there for him. Give him 6 points. DJ Richardson makes it a 1-point game again.
Good ball movement by Illinois. Gets the open three-point jump shot.
Oh, nice adjustment by the Illini. Now it looks like they're going to try to double team Burke off the high pick and roll.
That's a smart adjustment. You keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. And in the first half, they weren't doing that. Burke was allowed to operate. Now, Illinois is forcing the Michigan Wolverines, Burke, to pass the basketball, not somebody else has to initiate offense and make plays.
Maniscalco fires around and out, rebounded by Morgan. So Michigan leading by 1 with 14 minutes left here in Champaign. Burke around the back. Douglas, who's been a terrific leader for this team, both he and Novak, co-captains. And it's such a big part of the resurgence of Michigan basketball under John Beilein. Hardaway Jr. with a catch. The shot, and that one feathery touch in again.
Again, when you got a guy that is a catch and shoot jump shooter that struggles putting it on the deck, the last thing you can do is to give him space. Hardaway is 6'6" with leaping ability and a high release point. If you don't get in his jock when he gets off the bus, Thus, he'll hit 3 of 3 from three-point land.
Stripped away. That's going to go the other way. Hardaway won that argument off of Paul's leg as Hardaway reached in and deflected it away.
Well, he's not breaking ankles and leaving lingerie on the deck like his daddy used to, but Hardaway doing it different ways from long range. Really stinging the Illini here the last couple times down the floor.
And in fact, he has 15 points on only 5 shots.
Very effective and efficient. The backcourt for the Michigan Wolverines, 31 points, Hardaway Jr. and Burke.
Novak denied. Bertrand cut him off. Here's Burke out high.
Mine have done a very good job here in the second half on Burke.
Keeps the dribble. Slings the pass. Douglas, corner jumper, no. And a foul in the rebounding fray with 12:53 to go. Foul will go against DJ Richardson of the Fighting Illini as he picks up number 2. Going to argue his point with Ted Valentine.
And I've never seen one overturned like that.
No.
Even though when I was a player, I used to do it too much, Jalen.
But it does affect the next call.
Okay.
People that watch games all of the time wonder why players argue at the officials. It does affect the next call, especially when they blow a call.
Douglas took a little bump there but couldn't bank it in for Michigan.
Hats off to the Illini here in the second half, defensively playing a lot like they did in their last victory against Iowa, turning up the heat, making things difficult.
It has to be a desperate team. Leonard on the back down, no basket, fouled on the deck with 12:27 to go. And if Illinois loses this game, they would have to win the Big Ten tournament in order to go to the NCAA tournament.
I totally agree, Dave, and this is the resiliency and the urgency that you like to see. Myers Leonard throwing his weight around, and it's a young man that right now with no fouls. So he can be extremely aggressive, Jalen, coming down the stretch.
He likes to turn over the left shoulder, doing a better job getting catches closer to the basket where he can be effective.
Morgan with the foul from Michigan.
Working harder.
Demanding the ball. He's actually calling for it verbally with the catch. Bank shot up and in. Got a lot of roll, a lot of iron.
And that's what I talked about in the first half. It's not selfish when you're playing to your skill set. He's a big man that can score down low. He clearly has a size advantage against the Wolverines. The Illinois team is doing a better job of taking advantage in the second half.
Berg line drives it. Tipped and controlled by the Fighting Illini. They have a chance to tie the game or take the lead for the first time in this contest.
And who does the ball need to go to, Jalen?
There's no secret. You don't have to be the most educated person watching the game or in the building to know that Leonard probably should get a touch.
A timeout here. I think Bruce Weber called that because Leonard is absolutely gassed, and they want to go back to him again to give him a little bit of a break here. Needed him desperately. He's coming through. Steven, he's 4 for 4 in this half. 12 points for him, and again asking for the ball every time down. The kick out now to the corner. Here's Paul. He'll fire it up there. Hardaway Jr. with the rebound, and Michigan takes over, and Illinois keeps bumping right up against the Wolverines, but they can't overtake them.
Yeah, well, right there, you can tell that Myers is somewhat gassed, but I got to be on life support if I don't shoot. If I caught the ball on the block, I'm making them stop me before I give it up.
Novak with a miss there, 46-44. Another opportunity for the Illini to tie or take the lead. Leonard underneath. Here's Richardson. Open, long. That won't drop. Once again, a missed opportunity.
Unselfish to a fault. I would have liked to see the big fella attack the basket using his left hand, doing what he's been doing this entire second half. Jump hook over the left shoulder.
The Illini, nonetheless, have made 8 of their last 12 shots, so they've heated up since the break.
But he didn't pass it to a bad player.
Christian
he made a couple of threes.
It's going to be an offensive foul, so no basket there, Jalen.
That play is rewarded in college basketball. Great way to sacrifice your body on defense.
Bruce Weber certainly under considerable heat here in Champaign. Desperation time for he and the Illini tonight.
And got almost point-blank range there, took the contact, and despite the miss, you like the shot selection by the Illini.
Now you wonder about Michigan and Trey Burke, who has only scored 2 points in the second half. Novak slicing in, lays it up. No, the tip won't fall. Morgan with a big rebound. He'll get it back out, and he'll set up another play.
Nice closeout by Myers-Leonard.
Good patience by Douglas. Normally that's a shot that he looks to take, but he understands the Fighting Illini are getting back in the game once it gets a good possession.
So 9:20 left here in Champaign. Burke reversing field. Gives it up. Corner jumper Hardaway. Buries it, a three-pointer.
Wow. Tim Hardaway. What slump?
Indeed. Guy who's been scuffling from three all season. He has scored their last 9 points.
And that's, see, Dave and Jalen, that's the mark of a very smart and very good team when they feed the hot hand. Illinois has been doing that with Myers-Leonard. Michigan now, Trey Burke getting it to Hardaway.
Off target that time, Leonard. He settled for the mid-range jump shot. Now Trey Burke had an outstanding first half. Novak on the baseline. Out for Hardaway. His 17-footer. Another one for him. This time a two-pointer.
I talked about this in the first half. For all of you shooters out there, Tim Hardaway worked himself into the game. He's getting rebounds, had a couple of layups, making a couple of shots off the dribble. Now his entire game is working, knocking down threes, making twos, taking over this basketball game.
51-44. Michigan bolsters the lead. And now the Illini need another run just to get it fairly close again. And the crowd has really been taken out of it. Here's Paul. That's not there. Hardaway with the rebound.
Stu Douglas doing a really good job on Brandon Paul one-on-one defensively.
Burke, nice dish. Morgan with the stop. Timeout. 7:48 to go. And just like that, Michigan is up 9. A 7-0 run. Well, Trey Burke may not be doing a lot of scoring, but he is giving the ball up beautifully, and Morgan for an easy 2. The NCAA tournament is one thing, but for teams, original schools in the Big Ten, the #1 most important thing is winning the Big Ten championship. And Jalen, they still have a chance.
Some of the best teams in the country are in the Big Ten. Look at this season. Ohio State, Michigan State. You're competing against those teams on a weekly basis. If you're competitive and fortunate enough to win a Big Ten title, you understand that puts you in a position to now win a national championship because normally one of the Big Ten teams are in the running.
And also, it's a tremendous pride thing. We got to the Final Four in '89. We were second in the Big Ten. Indiana won it. Michigan, who won the national championship, was third. And that still burns all of us up that don't have a Big Ten ring.
Paul just threw that one away. A poor pass. And the Illini have gone about 5 minutes without scoring. Burke wriggling in. He'll draw the foul. And you see his teammates very quick to help him to his feet. 53-44.
And that's what you see John Beilein has brought to the team. Core values, good men, good husbands, good fathers, community leaders, but very good basketball players. Tim Hardaway Jr.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented.
And for Big Ten fans, they're pulling for Northwestern.
Sure.
Never have been to a tournament before,
right,
but they've lost 6 games in Big Ten play by 5 points or less. And they've had their opportunities. And for them to still be in, that's a tribute to their strength of schedule, and it's a tribute to how tough and competitive the Big Ten is.
And what about a Division I team playing in the Big Ten? Northwestern has never made the NCAA tournament. Michael Wilbon is rolling over in his grave.
Well, will this be the year for Northwestern and Bill Carmody and John Sherna and his team? 54-44. Michigan has bolstered the lead now to 11 points.
And you know what? Trey Burke did something that was so clever. He got to the rim against a defense that wasn't responding well. You see the figures right there. Illini really gone cold. But Lavelle Jordan, the assistant coach at Michigan, has had a lot to do with Trey Burke's maturation and him quickly picking up this offense. His presence and him really tutoring Trey has been a big deal for him. And you see the effects of his plays thus far.
And a pretty nice place to start. He obviously has a high basketball IQ to begin with. Shot clock at 6. Leonard gives it up. Maniscalco's going to have to heave it up there. He can't nail it. Tipped up and in by Leonard.
I really like the activity by Leonard in the second half. Nice tip up, extra effort play. Now let's see if the Illini can bump chest, slap fives, pump up the crowd, get this building hype. They're in here. I see the Orange Crush. I've been in this building. The Wolverines have not won here since 1995. Jimmy King and Ray Jackson was on the roster. Let's see if they can find a way to get back in this basketball game.
Morgan fouled in the act of shooting. He's going to go to the line where it usually doesn't go so well, but boy, he makes his shots, doesn't he? He's number 2 in the Big Ten in field goal percentage behind Cody Zeller.
Yeah, you know, this guy here has done such a wonderful job. And watch him draw the double team, draws Myers Leonard away from the bucket, and Morgan recognizes he's got the advantage, just turns over his shoulder and goes up to his go-to move.
And the awareness by Trey Burke, having 18 points, giving up a good shot to get a better shot, recognizing the defense.
And a 3-point play for Morgan, just a 49% foul shooter, but he makes it a 12-point lead, and they start sinking into their chairs here at Assembly Hall.
Yeah, and it's been a tough last month for Illini fans, as we talked about earlier in the broadcast. 2 of their last 9 in Big Ten play, but they've got a chance here, but they've got to help their home crowd get into it. They got to make some plays on the defensive end.
Ball swings, Griffey, that's too long. The rebound comes out high, knocked around, and they're going to keep it. The Fighting Illini will retain possession with 5:46 to go. Bruce Weber, his 9th year. Question is, will this be his final year here in Champaign? Many believe it will be, especially having lost 9 out of their last 11. That 6-game losing skid. Here's Leonard all the way through, but cannot convert, and there is a whistle and a blocking foul on the play.
Teddy Valentine, one of my favorite officials, even when I played college basketball. As you see, Leonard with the fake, drives to the basket, does get the contact by Douglas. And by the way, that right there by Douglas was a business decision. He saw the big fella coming. I'm not in position to take the charge. I definitely don't want to be on the top 10 plays of ESPN tonight by getting dunked on. So maybe I'm going to move out of the way.
So no poster here.
No, not at all. No screensaver.
His 3rd foul. 15 for Leonard with 7 rebounds.
I love the business decision, Jalen. I love that. You don't mind if I co-opt that, dude?
No,
I gotta
not
use
at
that.
all. Take that, take that.
58-48. You look at the foul shots. Michigan hasn't been there very often, and they've had other games like this where they seldom get to the line, but they've made every one. Hardaway giving it up for Novak.
Well, Illini was into full court pressure right there, but Michigan just cut that up easily.
Smotrich has recovered sufficiently to get back into the game. Douglas. Shot clock down to 10.
Nana Egwu doing a good job on the perimeter, keeping Douglas in front.
5 to shoot. Here it comes. Around and out. Tip rebound to Paul, and the Illini still with an opportunity with 5 minutes to go. Can he heat up? His spin move. Blocking foul, and he will get hit here with 5:01 left and go right to the foul line.
I like the aggressiveness by Brandon Paul. Drive to the basket, gets to the free throw line.
You see Brandon seeing that the Red Sea has parted. Sees a little bit of space in that lane area and trying to make something happen for the suddenly cold Illini from the field.
Hardaway's 2nd foul. So 2 shots here for Brandon Paul, who hit 73%. I'll tell you who is still hurting over there on his side is Jordan Morgan, still working on that left shoulder of his after he ran into Myers Leonard.
Yeah, that's Big Ten basketball right there, though, big fella. This is a contact sport, and it's no blood, no foul in the Big Ten, so hopefully he can shake that off.
And that's a big physical body that the Wolverines may need in the game to close this out with only an 8-point lead with 5:01 remaining.
And again, as Jalen points out, and he knows this very well, it's 13 consecutive wins for the Fighting Illini over Michigan in this building. And it hasn't been since 1995 that the Fighting Illini have lost to Michigan here.
I think that's one of the longer streaks, current streaks, of any team against an opposing team on their home floor. So the Illini with a little something to defend here in the last 4 minutes and 59 seconds.
Brandon Paul with his third foul. Now back to Burke. Each side with 6 fouls. Hardaway back to Smotrich to dribble down. Can't cash in from close range. And it'll go the other way. It'll be Fighting Illini ball. Hey, tomorrow night ESPN has an NBA doubleheader. It starts with Kia NBA Countdown. Then at 8 o'clock, it's the 76ers and the Warriors. At 10:30, it'll be Chris Paul and the Clippers battling Steve Nash and the Suns. The NBA on ESPN.
I don't care what anybody says. Chris Paul is a beast. Because the Clippers, with all their fanfare and Blake Griffin and all that, they weren't very good until Chris Paul got there.
And Clipper Durrell has always been there. Now they want him to drop the Clipper from his nickname.
Abrams
Now
banging
they
in.
get good.
He goes to the line for a three-point play.
What a move.
Big shot for Tracy Abrams. They don't rely on him for much scoring.
But he's playing a solid game. Also has 4 rebounds, driving to the basket, using the strength, getting to the free throw line, and 1.
That's 69th and Stony Island right there in the Chi-Town, Mount Carmel High School. Tracy Abrams showing some Southside grit.
Three-point play. Indeed, it is 58-53. That's a 7-0 run for the Fighting Illini.
The Illini picked up their defensive intensity. Let's see if the guards for the Wolverines can not only handle the basketball, but get points this last 4:07.
Abrams with the foul, attempting to slow down Tim Hardaway. And it's 1-and-1 time for Michigan. So Hardaway will be at the line here. He has been the hot hand here in the second half of the Wolverines.
Well, he, as Jalen talked about, when you see a player like Hardaway get involved other ways, as opposed to letting his offense dictate how hard he plays, the game comes to you. So it's a little chippiness going on now. We've got to watch Myers Leonard and Hardaway exchanging love pleasantries among one another on the free throw line.
And fouls like that help head coaches get gray hair. You're down 5, you're playing at home, you don't want to commit that foul. Keep up your intensity. See if you can force the Wolverines into a low percentage play. Instead, you put Hardaway Jr. on the line. He knocks down 2. The Wolverines back up 7.
Timeout, Michigan. Hardaway Jr. with 22 and 13 have come here in the second half. And indeed, he has not missed a shot since halftime for John Beilein. Let's take a look now at the moment of the game, brought to you by Disney Parks.
Well, Tim Hardaway Jr. coming off the down screen, starting to feel it. And once a shooter gets going, like Jalen Rose used to back in the day, it was hard to do anything to try to contain him. Tim Hardaway playing an excellent floor game this evening.
Tim, you know you're killing them. You know you're killing them. He and Trey Burke, the backcourt of the Michigan Wolverines, 40 of the 60 points on the board. The Wolverines also shooting 49% from the floor.
You just don't see this every night. A guy who has 22 like Hardaway Jr. on 7 total shots. You talk efficiency.
Yep.
I mean, that's the model of it right there.
It is a model of it. And when you're talking about a slump, he got a shot about 8 foot away, got it to go. Then he got a free throw line jumper, got it to go. He got an offensive putback, then the 3. Now he's rolling.
So he has the Wolverines on top by 7. And the glimmer of hope that the Fighting Illini had coming into this game is beginning to fade ever so slightly. They still have time, but now they are down 7.
Right now, somehow you have to get Myers Leonard back involved on the offensive end.
Hands off here for Richardson. Smotrich batting that one away. He commits the foul, trying to deny Myers-Leonard. We have another timeout, 3:45 left. Michigan 60, the Fighting Illini 53.
Hey, Jay Billis can write a tutorial on how to build Twitter followers. He does a rap once a day in the morning and ends it with "gotta go to work." And he's enlisted the likes of young Jeezy to help him out, because some of the words Jay Billis uses in that, he's never pronounced on his own.
That's right, all of which is very, very frightening. Hardaway Jr. romping through the lane, and a blocking foul against Illinois with 3.5 to go, and he'll get Abrams for that one.
That's another one of those block charge flop situations. Just slide your feet a little bit to the left. Defense the play. Once your feet stop moving, with a clever offensive player, you put yourself in a position to get the block, as he did on that play.
Abrams third. Hardaway back to the line, where he's building on a 22-point night. By the way, Smotrich has fouled out. Just picked up his 5th before the timeout. Managed to do that in only 14 minutes.
Well, you're looking at Smotrich, who fouls out, but yet Morgan comes back in the game battling through that injured shoulder. And here's a Michigan team on senior day that got blasted by Purdue at home, and yet they still have an opportunity to come on the road and do something they haven't done in 13 trips. And the effort by the Wolverines is to be commended up to this point.
And this is senior night for the Fighting Illini. Let's see if they're going to fight this last 3-10.
Trailing by 9, shot clock down to 10 for Illinois.
Crowd getting a little antsy.
Ball trying to make a move. Slings it back out. Richardson's 3. Leonard went for the rebound. Foul there as they tried to undercut him. Foul against Michigan with 2:55 left. And now the Fighting Illini are beginning to run out of time, and perhaps on their lingering NCAA tournament hopes, if you're one who believes they still have a chance to jump on that bubble.
Yeah, and they have a lot of work to do, and you got to take care of this one first. And so if Myers can connect here, it gives them an opportunity to set up defensively, some full court pressure, and put a little bit more pressure on the Wolverines. But Jalen, it's all about stops right now. It's about, what'd you say, slap the floor, high five.
Do something to get this crowd involved. They're in the building. Now you got to find a way to keep them animated this last couple of minutes.
Again, Illinois has come right there to the edge of tying or taking the lead 4 or 5 times.
Now I see Leonard pumping up the crowd. Now let's see if that's going to help the defensive intensity.
Burke on the wing, so confident with the ball, but that time gives it away. He turns it over, perhaps trying to do too much. Abrams feeding Leonard on the jump. Back out high. Richardson drives at the teardrop, rolls around and out, and an offensive foul. Foul against the Fighting Illini.
Zach Novak doing what seniors do, making plays in critical times. Gets set up, he's squarely outside the arc, feeder set, takes the bump. Excellent play by Novak.
That's what he does. Every play he's hustling. Novak gets the big charge for the Wolverines. Now let's see if the Wolverines can find a way to get a quality shot, leading by 7 on the road.
Illinois pressing in more ways than one. Timeout Douglas. That time it worked. Forced him to call a timeout. So John Beilein has to burn one there. It's actually a 5-second violation. We'll go back to January 17, Michigan at Illinois. Michigan led by Jimmy King and Ray Jackson, and winning the game 69-59, their last victory in Champaign. So 2:17 remaining. Illinois with the foul on Myers-Leonard.
So when you show footage from 1995, that's probably VHS.
Yeah, we had to cart in a machine just for that, a VHS machine, and stick it in the corner of the truck.
Pre-social media and Google and YouTube.
And
so it will be Novak at the line, Stephen.
And Dave and Jalen, believe me, these Wolverines knew that stat. They Novak and Douglas have never won in this building. They knew how far back this streak goes. And this is a veteran ball club that likes to set new records and likes to come in to odds all against them. And they've taken every shot the Illini have given them thus far.
Novak, a superb foul shooter, 87%. Recently named the program's first ever academic All-American.
Third team, a tremendous honor. One to be proud of.
Hey, in the Ross Business School in Michigan, so I told him, I'm coming for a loan, young fella.
Michigan has been perfect at the foul line. So they've taken care of a lot of the little things. Richardson had barely grazed the iron and out off of Leonard with 2:01 to go.
Now, these are the situations, especially for young teams, I wish American basketball rules weren't so different on every level. There are still states like Michigan where high school basketball plays without a shot clock. Then you get to college, a different three-point line than the NBA, different lane line, so many different rules. I wish each level had more consistent rules so that now it helps the development, especially a freshman and sophomore, to come in and be more competitive early.
Paul went for the theft, knocked it out of play. They were trying to make sure that Novak passed it before they fouled somebody else because he's the best on the floor. And they get it into the backcourt for Burke. So Michigan with a comfortable lead here with 1:45 to go. And still very much alive for a Big Ten title. They have Penn State coming up. We could yet see a three-way tie for first place. Three co-champions in the Big Ten.
You think Michigan like this matchup or what?
2-1. Burke flips it up. That won't drop. Rebound tip, no.
Good penetration. Causes action. Fighting Illini get the rebound. Go the other way.
Abrams nudged by Hardaway Jr. Commits the foul with 1:20 to go.
Well, Tracy Abrams has the right idea. You don't always have to settle for threes when you're cutting into a lead. You can get to the rim, and it's a almost best case scenario for Illinois, having a chance to score with no time going off, and they can set up defensively.
So Michigan 1:20 away from snapping a string of losses that goes all the way back to the middle 90s here at Assembly Hall.
Yeah, that's quite a streak. And when you talk about the best conference in the country, having a run against one of the original Big Ten schools with Illinois going against Michigan. And we needed some kind of payback for when the Fab Five came through and embarrassed everybody in the Big Ten. And Lloyd Vaught, Terry Mills, Sean Higgins, Ramil Robinson, and Glenn Rice broke our heart in Seattle. We need a modicum of revenge, don't we?
Yes, I would say so. Where's Nick Anderson, Lowell Hamilton when you need them?
Leonard with the foul, stops the clock with 1:12 to go. And several times here in the second half, Bruce Weber's team, 5 times, had an opportunity to tie or take the lead and never could get there.
And see, that's, Dave, I think that's a sign of leadership or lack thereof. Because if you're trying to break into a lead, you know psychologically that the fans are trying to get behind you. And if you can get that lead one time, the energy from the building might be able to bring you home. So you have to look and understand where you need the ball to go in those situations. The Illini didn't do that this evening.
Burke at the line, very smooth there. The Illini started the second half sizzling, 6 for 8. Since then, they're 2 for 12.
A lot of it has to do with Myers Leonard not really getting the basketball.
Leonard gets it down to rebound, gives it up in the lane. Bertrand lays it in with 58.8 to go and a timeout. Bruce Weber, 66-58. Michigan in command here down the stretch. Right now, let's get it back to the studio and Ryan Burr. Ryan?
All right, Dave, we are waiting 7 minutes away from Kentucky. John Calipari has never lost at home as the head coach of Kentucky. It's senior night for Big Blue Nation taking on Georgia. They are dancing in the hallways, getting ready for the Bulldogs. It's next here on ESPN.
Okay, Ryan, thank you very much. Just about a minute left here at Assembly Hall. And, well, let's try and put this in perspective a little bit, what it means for both teams. Obviously, Jalen, Michigan with eyes on only one thing right now, and that's a Big Ten championship, and that dream is still alive.
Imagine the Wolverines could beat Penn State, then have to root for Ohio State to win at Michigan State.
That's not
Sounds
done.
almost like an oxymoron.
It's not done, is it? Stephen, on the other side for Illinois, is it just slipping right through their fingers? Any lingering chance to go to the NCAA tournament?
I think after this loss, it would be very difficult because you're asking a young Illini team to go to Wisconsin and try to win on senior day at Wisconsin with Jordan Taylor playing his last ball game. Tall task for the Illini.
Of course, you have the Big Ten tournament. They would be forced to win that and get that automatic bid to go to the NCAA tournament. And you talk about uphill. Burke fouled right around midcourt by Paul. Boy, Hardaway and Burke combined for 44 points in this one. That's 44 points on just 20 shots.
Effective, efficient. Now at the end of the game, when your guard play has been so stellar and they're very good free throw shooters, it's almost tough to get back in the basketball game trailing by 11 if you're the Fighting Illini.
Trey Burke with 21.
And Tim Hardaway with 10 rebounds, mixing up his game.
And you mentioned it, Jalen. Michigan doesn't really have a traditional big. And so their guards have to go into the post area and come up with rebounds, and they did that tonight.
Abrams, they got to get a shot in the air. Wing is way too far off the mark by Richardson, and another foul here with 42.9 to go.
Good night, sweetheart. It's time to go.
Michigan 16 out of 17 from the foul line. Finally missed for the first time tonight a couple of moments ago.
Well, tip your hat to the Michigan Wolverines coming into a hostile building. And they kept it not so hostile tonight by their play. Taking care of the basketball, sharing the wealth, and one of their best players, Tim Hardaway, stepping up when they needed it the most.
Sellis, one of the seniors on senior night here in Champaign, coming on. So Bruce Weber with a class act there to get him into the game.
Yeah, it's a bad feeling in your senior day when you go down with a loss.
Brandon Paul, no field goals in this half as he just exited. 0 for 2 and fouling out with 5 here with 37.4 to go. So Abrams will go to the line. I think that look says it all right there.
Is that considered a gas face?
I think that would be a resignation face, yeah. I think you're right. Like, I'm done. And maybe the Illini's chances, as slight as you might consider them coming into this game anyway, may have been extinguished tonight as far as the NCAA tournament.
And these young men in college basketball today, there's so many media outlets. There's so many ways to get information. They know where they stood coming in the game. They knew they had to win this game. And they knew that a Michigan team that got beat by double figures at home in their last game was going to come in here with fire in their eyes. And that's exactly what they got.
Leonard hits the bench for the rest of the game. 18 points and 9 rebounds. And 14 of those points here in the second half.
Yeah, I give Myers, Leonard, and Brandon Paul a lot of credit. They were competitive. They played hard. Unfortunately, they ran against a better basketball team today in the Wolverines.
And Myers really leading the charge in the second half. And you hope for both of those young men brighter days to come here at Illinois, but they're about to go to 17 and 13 and 6 and 11 in the Big Ten.
And when when they talk about the NCAA tournament process, they don't talk about conference records. But I believe there's only been 2 teams in a Power 6 conference that have gotten an at-large bid in the tournament that were sub 500 in their conference play. And so even though it's not mentioned, I think that's a barometer of if you are an at-large team, and Illini falling short of that mark right now.
On the other hand, Michigan about to go to 22 and 8 and 12 and 5 in the Big Ten and end a string of 13 straight losses here at Assembly Hall. And Steve, when you said it earlier that for some reason this Michigan team has been a little bit under the radar nationally, despite spending much of the season, in the top 20, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and I don't quite understand. I know that Ohio State, Michigan State get a lot of the pub in the Big Ten because they've got Jared Sullinger and Draymond Green, who I think is the Big Ten Player of the Year. But Hardaway, Novak, Douglas have never missed a game. These guys are durable. They know how to play. Jordan Morgan is playing some of his best basketball of his career. Smatras can hit the three. This is a very versatile team. They're battle-tested. You mentioned their strength of schedule at 12 best in the nation, and they've come through the best conference in the country with a chance to grab a share of the Big Ten title. And yet no one is really talking about how effective they've been this season. And I'll throw this to you. They lose Darius Morris to the NBA. They put a freshman at Trey Burke at point guard, but they're better with Trey Burke this year than they were with Darius Morris.
Trey Burke is able to play off pick and roll action, knock down the jump shot, mid-range, three-pointers, also penetrate the lane, keep others involved. And that's what you need if you're Tim Hardaway Jr., a shooter, a scorer, a point guard that can get you the basketball in positions to make plays. And those two players were effective and efficient today. Very explosive.
21 points for Trey Burke on 7 out of 13 shooting. Tim Hardaway Jr. with 25 points on 6 of 7 shooting and 9 for 10 at the line. And Michigan really put this game completely on ice at the foul line tonight, making 21 out of 23.
On the road. Tip your hat to the Wolverines. And it'll be a fun day Sunday to see Wolverines cheering for Buckeyes.
Picture that.
So the final horn, and maybe the final horn on Illinois season. Michigan with an impressive win, 72-61. They fought off several hard charges by the Fighting Illini in the second half to put this one away, and they win for the first time here after losing 13 consecutive games. For Jalen Rose and Stephen Bardo, I'm Dave O'Brien. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's get you out to Lexington.